your takeaways from the Thursday night kickoff you called on Westwood One Radio is, what are your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, takeaways, still have questions about the Ravens. I didn't think they played very well.
What questions are there?
Really on both sides, but I didn't think they played very well on offense. We talked a little bit about it on the broadcast last night, was the meshing between Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson being a shotgun quarterback, Derrick Henry being more of a downhill I-type back. They tried to mix it and match it a little bit.
With the pistol?
With the pistol, and then there was a couple times on the touchdown run. Obviously, they were under center. But I'm just interested to see that mesh because I don't think Derrick's nearly as good when he has to start lateral and then get the big body going downhill. I used to say this about Adrian Peterson. He was the same way. He was a downhill back. He was so good. And then later on in his career, they tried to get him more into that shotgun zone read stuff, and he's just not quite the same back. So I'm interested to see that mesh first and foremost because we obviously believe adding Derrick Henry to Lamar Jackson could be dynamic. The pass game in year two, I didn't like what I saw last night. I thought Lamar was much more looking to run than playing the pass game. And again, not that I don't like that because obviously he's dynamic running the football, but I do believe you've got to let the pass plays play out and make the plays that are in front of you. And I felt like last night he was very impatient in the pocket and was looking to run as opposed to looking to throw and let the scheme work for him. And so another thing that I want to see, because there was a lot of talk, lost the weight. And last year there was that narrative of he's got to become a drop back. And I understand all that. I want Lamar to be the best version of himself. But we've got to find a happy medium where he can play the position and look to throw and let those guys work for him and then run when those opportunities present themselves. And I thought yesterday was more a complete opposite of what we saw in the conference championship game. Conference championship game was, I got to stay in the pocket, I got to throw it, I got to throw it, I got to throw it, where it was like, just take off and be Lamar. And then yesterday I thought it was the opposite. So there's some concerns to me, through the broadcast. There was at one point, a couple minutes to go in the third quarter, and only one catch by a wide receiver outside of Zay Flowers. They have to get more on the outside, in my opinion, if they're going to compete with the Chiefs and some of the other teams in the AFC. So I just wasn't as sold with what I saw from them. I didn't think the Chiefs played great, but I'm excited that they have Xavier Worthy and that speed, and Marquise Brown, like you said, when he gets healthy. I think that opens up the possibilities for that offense and Patrick Mahomes, and we got to see a glimpse of that last night. Thus, I'm more excited about what I saw from them opening night than I was from the Ravens.
Before we linger on the Chiefs a little bit, back to what you just said about Lamar. So from your perspective, sitting there, watching the game last night, did you see moments where you thought he packed it in too soon, that there was something intermediate, if not deep, that was developing and that would have worked? Did you see that last night?
When I was watching the game last night, I didn't necessarily see the things that were playing out behind him, but I saw the impatience of Lamar. I've actually gone back and watched the first half of the game, and there were a few opportunities that I think were coming open or possibly could have been there had he been patient. But it was more the feel that I felt like he was dropping back and looking to run as opposed to really, letting those things play out in front of him. And so there was just an impatience there that I felt watching the game. It showed up again when I watched the first half of the tape. And that, again, there just has to be a balance between the two. Right? He runs for over 100 yards, so you know how dynamic he is. It's just hard to live and win games against good teams in that mode when there are things that are happening. There was one at the end of the first half where they have an opportunity for a touchdown to Likely on a little stop route. And as soon as Lamar got back, he went running up in the pocket and ended up throwing the ball away in that situation where could have been a touchdown in that situation, could have been a difference maker. So just something I want to see play out as the narrative. We had the narrative last year of what they needed to become offensively and what Lamar needed to be. The changes this year and just seeing kind of the opposite of the way he played. I'm just interested to see how this settles in and this offense looks down the stretch.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.